Okay, at this stage of the build, I am going to put together the seaplanes. It came with this kit. They are the OSTU Kingfisher, I think they are. Anyway, there's two of them, and obviously they're all clear. So what I'm going to do now is cut all the pieces off these little clear sprues, and we'll start gluing them together. Okay. Here are the two airplanes so far. I'm not sure if I'm happy with the color or not. This one I still have to put the propeller on and the little bombs on the bottom. This one has all the parts on it. Yeah, this blue color is just, let's see, to me a flat blue, XF8. I wasn't quite sure what to do with the canopies. They're too small for me to try and paint those frames. My eyes are not that good and my hands are not that steady, so I just actually painted them with clear blue, which is this one right here. To me, a clear blue, X23. Once I get all the parts on these, I'm going to hit these with a flat clear coat. That'll dull them down, and then I'll put the decals on them, then I'll spray them again with a clear coat. Hopefully it'll even out the, tone down the paint and even it all out, so it'll look better. They're too shiny right now, and anyhow, so that's the progress on these. And like I said, this one here, I just have to put the propeller on and the bombs, and that just takes a couple of minutes to do that. So I think what I'll do is go ahead and do that right now, actually, and I'll just set these aside and let them let the glue and the paint cure overnight before I touch them again. Alright, so here are the two airplanes. They're all painted. I have the decals on them. Here they are, side by side. Both of them are done with the weathering. Helps bring out some of the detail on the canopy and such. And I'm happy with it. I think it's the best I can do for working on such a small airplane. And like I said, one more coat of clear to seal it all in, and these will be done. Okay. Okay, so getting back to step 26. There's more guns to put down, but well, I've already done those guns. I jumped ahead for a while. I do need to put down these parts here, these little tubs right here that go all around these quad mount gun emplacements, these Bofors. They are going to get these buckets around them, and I'm assuming that in those buckets is going to be the gun directors. And there's a bunch of miscellaneous parts here. There's some more tubs right there that go on. And so I'm going to go ahead and find those parts. And I'm going to start putting them down. Okay, still on step, what step is this again? 26. And I'm adding parts as per the instructions. Right now I'm going to try and put these little, they look like searchlights that go on here, and apparently there is some photo etch that goes on it. I'm not sure if I'm going to even add the Photoshop parts on here. I found the part M25 and I actually glued them on. They are right, come on focus baby, there we go. Those are the little searchlights right there. And I'm not sure if it's going to be worth the trouble to put the tiny little piece of photo etch on there. I don't know if it'll make it look better or not. I'm going to go ahead and look at the photo etch part and make a decision on that, and add that if I feel I need to. And then I've done J2 there, which are these little upright poles right there. As you can see, there's one, here's the other. I don't even know what those are. It's really hard to figure out. I added those two boxes. I've added the guns. I've added these little parts right here, these J8, J7 parts. I did the M28. I have not done K9, and I have not done F23, both sides. This little screen gadget thing here, or vent or something, that goes on both sides. I did the one side already, and I can show you that. That is right there. That's what that little, it's like a frame, a plastic frame that goes onto the side next to this door right there. And there's a piece of photo etch, like a screen, that goes on top of it. No idea what that is. It's right next to one of the doors on the side here. It's like the size of a life raft almost, but it's not a life raft. I'm not sure. It would be nice if Trumpeter would have, I don't know, named what some of these parts are and what their function is somehow, but that'd probably make a book in itself doing that, so they just put it on there. See, now right there is another one of those frames with a screen on it, and right here, and those were molded in, and they look like they're giant vents of some sort. So for some reason they decided that this one here was one that you had to add yourself and put the screen on. So I'm not sure why they didn't have that molded in also. Anyway, as you can see, I have all the Bofors gun mounts added on in their gun tubs. These these little buckets or tubs that I started putting on. I got 2 on so far. There's supposed to be 2 more that are around these Bofors, and they will house the little gun directors for these Bofor units. I've gone ahead and mounted the 5-inch gun emplacements on the sides. These are not glued on, so I can remove them, which I will do, because when it comes time to be putting the railing on and stuff like that, these will just get in the way. So, up here on the very top, that's as far as I've gotten on the upper superstructure area. I put these two tubs in right there. I'm not sure what those are going to hold. They look like they might hold gun directors as well. So I'll pull back here. Oh, another thing, my big mistake here is on this wooden decking. As you can see right there, there's no wooden decking right there where they're supposed to be. And at first I was thinking I'm just gonna have to paint that because they didn't supply a piece of wooden decking for that area. Well, I was wrong. I found it. The problem is I've already glued down the guns and the ammo boxes. So what I had to do was I took this piece of decking and I literally cut it in 3 pieces and fitted it around these guns and the ammo boxes. I didn't want to try and pop these pieces off the plastic. Probably would have broke them if I did that. So I just worked around them, and I got this one piece of decking on, and I still have to work on this one right here to get that one on. And I'll have to cut that one in a couple pieces also. So anyhow, that's the progress I've made. And yeah, the main guns go into place like so. Wait, that's the wrong one. These fit on real nice. They look good. I still have not put on the itsy bitsy tiny teeny weeny little photoetch rails that go along the edge, the upper edge of this turret, and I still don't know if I'm going to. I've tried a couple times to put those on there, and my old eyes and old arthritic fingers have a really hard time doing it. And I just gave up, and I don't know, I just gave up. But we'll see. Maybe I'll get inspired one day and my fingers will be feeling good and my eyesight will be doing good, and I'll try and put those back on. But for right now, these are done. I think they came out really well. They turn around really well. You get those on the ship, and it makes it start to look like it's a real battleship with all these gun emplacements on. I'm still amazed at how long this model is. Pull way back. Here's my coffee cup to give you some sense of scale. This thing takes up a large portion of my desk here. This desk I'm working on is a 6 foot long desk. There's the end of the ship. Here's the other end of the ship. There's the end of the desk. So, I forget the exact measurements, but this ship is at least 4 feet long. This model. I still have no idea at this point in time where I'm going to display this thing when I'm done with it. I'll figure out something. So here are the 2 parts on the F sprue, F23, which is that right there. You remember I was talking about these little searchlights. Well, I found the little PE parts that go to it. It's right there. Wait, let me get that in focus. Right there. Come on, focus, dude. There. Those little parts right there, 14. And if you look real close on the plastic, there's no, it's smooth, so there's no indication of a lens or anything. So this is supposed to give the appearance of a searchlight lens, I guess. So I'm going to cut those out and see if I can put them on. Here's how small those photoetch searchlight lenses are. It's going to be tricky getting these things on. But I'm going to give it a try. Okay, so nah, it didn't work out. These little searchlights, it's hard to tell with the camera, but they have a curve to them. Those tiny little pieces of photoetch were flat. And so first of all, there's no way I could curve them to form over the plastic. And I was able to get them on and make them stick, but they don't look that good. They don't look realistic, so I'm not going to put them on, and I will just paint silver, aluminum, or clear blue or something to sort of give an idea that there's a lens there. Anyhow, let's move on. I've decided to go ahead and work on the propellers. The propellers and the rudders. Here's one of the rudders here, which I already painted with the hull red at the same time I painted the hull. But I have to kind of touch them up and then reattach them. But I'm going to concentrate on getting these propellers cleaned up. You can see there's some sanding needs to be done on the edges of the propellers. They're kind of rough in places. And then they need to be painted, and then they need to be attached to the propeller shafts. Now, I do not have a paint color that is bronze, if that's what they were truly made out of, which I think they were. But I do have the Tamiya Gold Leaf X12. I've painted other propellers with this, and it comes out looking pretty good. So I'm going to do that. Alright, I have these propellers mounted and ready to get painted. I have them all cleaned up, sanded. The rudders are all painted the hull red now. Once these are dry, I'll attach those to the ship. And these right here I am going to paint with, like I said, the Gold Leaf X12 from Tamiya. And I'm going to do these by hand. I don't see any reason why I should get out my airbrush for propellers. Here are the propellers painted with the Gold Leaf, and the rudders all painted up. I have attached these two propellers on this side and one of the rudders. There we go. Oh, come on, focus now. Focus. Doesn't want to. Try to put my hand down there. Anyhow, I can't get this to focus. What's going on? There. Alright, and here is the rest of the propellers put on and the rudders. It came out okay. So I'm going to be working more on getting these gun director tubs placed here in the middle. I got one more set to do. These 4 went on pretty well, fairly easy. The last 2 are going to go on these upright supports right here, and then they have another little bracket on them. And I'm also hoping to continue on these today. There's some photoetch that goes on here. So let's gather the pieces up and see what we can do. Okay, so I got these 3D printed I think these are gun director units. I'm not sure exactly what they are, to tell you the truth. But they mount on this big tall pedestal, which in the instructions is that thing right there, which goes on the ship right here in the back. Excuse me, right there. So this thing mounts on here, and this gun director here mounts on top of that. I got these to replace the trumpeter part. I looked at the pictures online, and that is what it looks like in real life. And that looks a lot more like this one than the trumpeter version. So I'm going to go ahead and use these printed parts, and I will glue that on the top of this, and then there's one goes in the front and one goes in the back, and they're for the main guns, I believe. So that's my next step I'm going to take here. I am jumping around a lot, but that's the way I do this. That's the way I do this build for some reason. I like jumping around. So there is what we're going to be working on next. All right. Another thing to notice about this 3D printed part is when they printed it out, they also included this railing. This railing is very out of scale and not too accurate looking. There's supposed to be a railing all along the top edge here. They show it in the instructions. If you look at it there, you can see there's the railing right there. It goes all along that whole top edge right there. And if you look at the picture, look very carefully, you can see that railing up there along that top edge. There's actually a piece of railing up there on those wings that stick out. they kind of made those. You kind of see them right there. They're sort of out of scale too. I'm not going to bother with those, but I am going to snip this big honk. It looks like a fence up there. Somebody put a wooden fence on that thing. I'm going to take that off and use the railing that comes with the Trumpeter kit and put it along this edge. So we'll do that and clean up anything else that needs cleaning up on this, and then we'll glue it on. Alright. Here's the 3D printed part attached to the tower here, the plastic tower, and I stuck it onto the ship. It's not glued, but the tower, I mean, is not glued down to the superstructure part here. It's just laid in there, dry fitted. And but I did glue this giant rangefinder in. So I'm going to do a little bit more cleanup on it and attach a piece of railing on it from the kit here, from the Trumpeter kit. And then paint the whole thing up. Alright, this is step 36. Finished. Completed. This was the illustrations. There it is with the 3D printed gun director on top. Or range. I'm not sure what it's called. Rangefinder, gun director. I'll have to look it up. There's two of these on the ship. One in the back, and then there's going to be another one up here in the front. And they are responsible for directing the gunfire, I think, on these main guns. I think that's what their purpose was. Now I'm working on step 38. Step 38 is putting together this part of the superstructure. It's another tower that eventually is going to have radar and gun director units on top. But right now I'm putting together the simple stuff, and that's the plastic. Just trim off some of the little nubs that are left over from the sprues. Do a little sanding, see how it all fits. There's this main tower part right here. It has a platform which goes on top, right like that. Okay, and then it has some platforms that go around it. Let's see, this one goes right here. There's a little slot on the side this goes into. That pushes into that slot right there. Anyway, it'll work better when I get glue on it. And then this wraps around, and then there's another little one that goes around on this side right here. So it's going to look something like that. Anyhow, I'll do a little sanding, and we'll put this thing together. So here is step 38 done, plus most of step 39. What I've left to do on this particular substructure here of the superstructure, I am going to build this large radar panel. Plus what it looks like a long ladder and some railing. So it's coming along okay so far. Anyway, onward and upward. Okay, step 37 is completed. Step 37 was building this substructure, subassembly. This subassembly, like I said earlier, is going to go right down here. So what I'm going to do is look ahead in the instructions and see if it's going to work out for me to glue this down now or not. In other words, I don't want to glue this part down if I have to glue more parts inside here first. So we'll check that out. Okay, I am going to work on putting together these boats. There's the hull. There's the deck part. And these boats consist of the hull, the deck, a little rudder, and a photoetch part that looks like it might be the propeller. So I'm going to go ahead and put those together. Then right here, this little thing, some little house that goes down on the deck right here in front of the turret. Not sure what that house is for, but it's got a couple of life rafts on it and a photoetch ladder and a cable reel. And then we have to make 4 of these divots for the boats. And 2 of these, they look like motors for raising and lowering the boats maybe. So I'm going to concentrate right now on this square and get that done. And then when I get those parts all done, I'll be ready to mount them onto the ship. The boat with its little stand goes right here on the side. The house, like I said, goes right here in front of this one turret. And then also in step 46, there's a whole bunch of guns and ammo boxes and a couple of platforms that have to go here on the side of the ship. But I'm going to concentrate on this right now, and then we'll get over to step 46 after this is done. Okay, here's the 2 boats made up. They got the little rudders on them and the little propellers. And here's the little structure, which was part of that step right there. And that's going to go right there. It's going to go right there. I just got to paint that ladder and a couple other little things on there, and then I will glue that in place. boats need to have the davits made. Right there. And once I get those made, and have to make these two little, I'm assuming these are the engines, or the motors for raising and lowering the boats. And then the boat's going to go onto this little rail system right there, which will glue onto the side right there. So, I'm going to go ahead and do a little painting on this, and then we'll move on to the boats. Okay, so the house that we put together here, the little structure, is now placed on the deck. The two boats have been built, as I showed you earlier, and I got one set of the davits on the deck. Also in this step 46, it's right next to these assemblies. I got these two gun platforms, one right here installed, and this other longer one installed with the ammo boxes on it. The little Orlican gun emplacements are going to go in there and here. And here is the forward conning tower, mostly put together. Got the radars on top, little radar on the front there, yard arm or cross member piece. So it is time to glue this. Up on top. And as you can see, it fits pretty well. All I have to do is add some glue to it. Just a little bit. Okay, here we go. And there it is. The main conning tower is now attached with the radar units on top. And the gun director on top, or firing director. I still have to put the little gun directors right here. Radar units, gun directors, whatever they are. One goes there too. And there's one in the very back. And one on the other side. I'm waiting for the parts to come in for that. I ordered some 3D printed parts. The first set of 3D printed parts for that particular radar unit there, it was delivered, but it was delivered and was all broken up. So I had to contact the people, and they are in the process of printing me out some new ones, and will be sending them to me. Hopefully they will be sending them, packaging them differently so they don't get all busted up. It was obvious they got busted up when the post office handled them. So sad. So right here in the middle, I still have another bucket or two to put on, and then I will be putting the smokestack, the secondary smokestack, in place there. And let me show you that. Here's the secondary smokestack or funnel, and it has its little radar on top. It has its searchlights. It has its tiny little gun directors all along there. Have to paint that one railing there. Got all the ladders on it. And it goes down right there in the middle, right there, where that piece of tape is. I will not be putting that on yet until I put these last two buckets on there. These little tubs. These little tubs hold the little gun or firing directors that are responsible for coordinating these anti-aircraft bofors, the 40mm guns here on the sides. There's more of those around here in the front and the sides here. A couple on the very front of the ship. All the anchors are on. Excuse me, not the anchors, but the anchor chain is on. I still have to put the anchors in place there. All the main turrets are done. All the secondary turrets are done. I just have to attach them to the ship. Catapult's done. The crane is done. That'll go on the stern of the ship towards the very end of the build so I don't bust it off accidentally. So yeah, it's coming along. A couple pieces of railing there that are still the color of the photoetch. I need to touch those up with a paintbrush. So this will go up on the shelf to keep it safe for now until I glue it on. Oh, and the airplanes are all done too. The airplanes are sitting up there. There's the airplanes. They're ready to go onto the catapults. The rear funnel is now attached. Along with the main conning tower here in the front. I have been starting to attach these antennas that stick up all over the place. And I've also been putting some ladders in some of these deck openings here and there. Okay.